Welcome Kodiaks to the flame test lab. Today we'll be doing flame tests with various elements, and one of the things that we've been talking about in class is how elements are made of protons, neutrons, and electrons, and how those electrons are somewhere outside of the nucleus in these things called energy levels. One of the ways that scientists know that electrons occupy these quantized energy levels is by the wavelength of the light that those elements give off whenever the electrons that are in those elements, especially those valence electrons, move from what we call their ground state to an excited state. And when the electrons move from their excited state back to a different energy level, a lower energy level, what happens is they emit a little packet of light called a photon. And those photons have specific wavelengths, and those wavelengths correspond to different colors that we perceive. And so different elements, whenever you excite their electrons, will end up emitting different colors of light. And that's one of the ways that we know about our modern theory of the atom, is where those electrons exist and the type of what we call emission spectra that they give. It's one of the ways that we know the elements that are in the sun, or the elements that are in distant stars, or even elements in other planets, is by looking at the light, the emission spectra that come from those particular celestial bodies. And so we're going to start off with the known elements and then move to some unknowns. The unknowns will be from the knowns, but you'll pick out what the unknowns are from your observations. And so this is element number 1, sodium. And what you want to look for is not the color of the butane flame, but the color that the flame changes to whenever we flame a sample solution of the element. So this is sodium. And we'll move relatively quickly through these. The next element is potassium. So flame test for potassium. A little bit harder to see, but it's a little different than that of sodium. I will do potassium one more time. There we go. Similar, but not quite the same. Next element on our list is lithium. So lithium. There you're seeing, there we go. That's the color we're looking for. After lithium, we have calcium. So here's calcium. There it is. There we go, calcium. Then after calcium, we have strontium. So strontium. There it is. One more time with strontium. Or you might read it as strontium. There you can see it. After strontium is barium. So barium. And there's the color we're looking for with barium. And that bright yellowish orange. Of course, we all perceive color a little bit differently, so. And then last but not least, after barium is copper. And this is the copper 2 ion in this solution. So copper, and there we go. And copper. So now we're going to move to a couple of unknowns. So unknown number 1. Here is unknown number 1. There it is. And let's make one of them easy. This will be unknown number 2. And there's unknown number 2. Alright, Kodiaks, thanks for tuning in, and that is the flame test lab. You'll need to complete the worksheet for the lab and upload that. And next up will be a lab on density.